Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this week's technical analysis, we're going to cover the big three, NEO, OmiseGO and FunFair. But before we get into it, I just want to touch on the stock market. The Dow closed above 23,000 this week for the first time. I remember when people were calling it a bubble when it was at 16,000. It continues to charge higher. I'm working on a video about whether or not we're going to have a stock market crash in the near future. So hopefully you guys look forward to that presentation. But everyone that wants to call crypto a bubble, okay, keep in mind that these stock markets continue to charge higher and we see headlines like this. The stock market may never go down again. Janet Yellen, head of the Federal Reserve, I don't believe we'll see another crisis in our lifetime, okay? Look, these headlines are ridiculous. Do with them what you will, but I just like to give you a point of reference for the same people that are calling crypto a bubble. You get the stock markets continue to charge higher every day. So the last thing before we jump into the analysis, I know a lot of you guys have enjoyed the Chart Guys crypto trading course. So I've got a link to that in the description of my videos. If you want to click that link and use the discount code Nugget10 to get 10% off, they're now accepting payment for their courses in cryptocurrency. So fantastic news. I look forward to working with the Chart Guys more in the future as they do their technical analysis, and I do a lot of my fundamental analysis style videos as well. So last week Bitcoin was trading around 5,500 and we were saying that the RSI and the MACD needed to take a breather of some sort, and sure enough we got that. So the RSI was able just to cool off a little bit, the MACD, even if it just took a pause, but I wasn't expecting us to get such a stronger move higher. Now this bracket is certainly still pushing up. There's plenty of time left, and we did see this sharp sell-off down around 5,100, but the markets just took off. And we were speaking last week about, you know, Coinbase creating so many accounts. They've recently changed their structure, so US customers can now buy $25,000 of crypto instantly. There's plenty of positives. And you know, that hard fork is approaching. There's still a lot of debate, but the market continues to charge higher, and as long as it consolidated at a high fib level, apart from that long wick there on that hammer, you know, we did consolidate at a high level and we got another boost higher. So again, now from that recent move, we're looking to just, you know, and we're not giving a lot of it back. So we've got to respect what we're seeing on the charts. This bracket doesn't bottom until the 29th, so you know that's the end of this week. Let's see if we can continue higher, and I want to show you guys an Elliott wave count I'm looking at now. So since we bottomed at 3,000 and the China fears there on high volume, we've now got a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and this could be a wave 5, so the last gasp higher before some sort of correction. But that's just one Elliott wave count I'm looking at. I've done a few different more bullish scenarios for my members, and the other thing I just want to show you is something I brought to the attention of my members a while back. So just this fib extension tool. So back from when we first had that hard fork panic down to 1777, we got all the way up to 5,000. We then pulled back to around 3,000 here. And then that 100% fib extension I was looking at, I showed my members, was around 62.26. And you know, we're thereabouts now. And the next extension up from that is all the way up at 8,200. So look, again, maybe there's a few things starting to line up to say the top is near in the near term, but you know that my longer term scenarios for Bitcoin are extremely bullish. I think that we're going to continue to add zeros to the price as we move forward. If more people continue to use this technology, we get those ETFs, we get the big on-ramps for institutional money to flow into this space. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. I'm being cautious, okay? I know that hard fork's just around the corner. A lot of people might have stepped in to get that free money. If it was me, I'd be more looking at what altcoins are trading cheap rather than putting more money into Bitcoin at this stage. So let's head over to Ethereum now. Last week we were trading around $330. We'd broken out. I'd spoken about how that next resistance was sort of out around that 340 level, which has been resistance a number of times. Again, I'll get out my laser here. So this acted as support and resistance a number of times back here. Again here resistance, and again now acting as resistance. So look, that's the next level that we really need to move through with some conviction. I spoke about these brackets bottoming on the 19th. You know, we've got that pause, that cool off, that correction now. We did go up for the, you know, the length of this bracket. It's pulled back. We're now looking for these two brackets to give us that push higher over the coming week. And again, that 340 level is what we need to take out with good volume, but you know, there's plenty of room for the RSI and the MACD to run on the daily chart now. I'm still in that Ethereum swing trade. There's plenty of good news come out already. Successful hard fork last week. We've got DevCon 3 coming up. Plenty of things to like about Ethereum, and we just need the spotlight to switch onto it. It's been all Bitcoin in the headlines lately. We need to build that sentiment back up a little bit, and that definitely happened around DevCon 2 last year. So I'm expecting Ethereum to have a strong rally over the next few weeks. Litecoin, we were looking at these old trend lines and this new shorter term trend line we'd had to draw because we'd given up these two longer term trend lines, and we'd spoken about how we expected to regain those. Now we did, but again, they're now acting as resistance here, rejecting from this trend line. It's given up this other one. We're just breaking down here. So this candle's got a little while yet, 12 hours left in today before this candle forms. So whether or not this is just the week and this long-term trend line can act as support and we get a bit of a bounce. So last week we were trading around $64 and the market's given a lot of that back. Again, the spotlight's on Bitcoin. Litecoin itself hasn't had any real fundamental news to drive it, but let's not forget we're still up multiple times from where we were at $4 only 6 months ago. So this longer term trend line here, we've got one more level of support. This bracket bottoms on the 29th as well. Again, I think once this fork's behind us and the spotlight's off Bitcoin, I think money's going to flow back into all these respective altcoins and they're going to start to trend upwards again. So, if you follow my work, I like to buy things when the sentiment is terrible, when nobody's talking about them rather than the hype. And, there's certainly nobody talking about Litecoin or hyping it up at the moment. So that's the way I think about these things. It's not necessarily bad. We need to have this rotation in sentiment and money flow to keep the markets healthy, to keep Litecoin building its base for its next leg higher in the longer term. So NEO, last week we were trading around $27. We were talking about the China maybe issuing those licenses to regulate exchanges. We haven't had any resolution on that issue still, so not a lot to talk about in this NEO chart. We're forming a bit of a pennant here. A lot of chop, but again, it's just within these two trend lines. So unless we get some bad news, look, I think we break to the upside. So there's probably a bit over a week. This is going to end around the start of November. So look, I'm definitely leaning towards breaking to the upside. As I said with Litecoin, the more we consolidate at these higher fib levels, it's just building a base for another move higher. Let's look for something concrete out of China, but there's nothing to worry about. We made it very clear over the past few weeks that the worst is behind us for these Chinese-based coins, which I'm going to start to cover more of. I've done Walton Chain and NEO, but I know a lot of you guys have been asking for a few others, so I'll start to cover more Chinese coins. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see any in particular. So, OmiseGO trading around $7.90 last week. We had pointed out that we'd made a very successful trade, and I've pointed out this long-term sort of support and resistance line here around $7.30. it lines up. This is what we call a confluence when we've got multiple fibs or support levels. So around 750. I said I'd put my money where my mouth is. We made a nice swing trade here last week, and again I've let members know that I've entered another swing trade this week. Look, this descending triangle here, it ends on the 29th as well. I think there's every chance we break out strongly to the upside. Look at this, just decreasing volume. There's been some, a hint of good news around the OmiseGO team lately. So, talking about their scalability, moving to proof of stake, integration with that plasma chain on Ethereum. So, again, if it was back here when it's all the rage and the spotlight's on OmiseGO, that news would have already been enough to push OmiseGO higher. But everyone's all eyes on Bitcoin. Again, that's when I'm happy to buy. And if OmiseGO is to fall down to $6, the next fib level, or down to $4, I'd be backing the truck up. That I really love this coin on its fundamentals, which I concentrate on in my analysis, and I think it's trading below its fair value now. So happy to step in and buy some OmiseGO for a swing trade there. Now, lastly, FunFair. So I know a lot of people always ask me what cheap coins do you like, and again, I've done about a dozen quality coins in my fundamental analysis videos. I'm going to keep pumping those out for you guys. But FunFair had some great news during the week. They're burning a lot of tokens, so reducing that total supply. Some good team member additions. I won't dive into it too much, but technically here, there's a lot of volume traded around, the 1 cent mark to 2 cents here, and we've just been sort of, chopping and drifting lower, but we've finally had a little bit of a pickup in volume. This isn't traded on any real large exchanges yet, so I love this one. I think it's a really quality coin. Watch my fundamental analysis video if you haven't already. But this coin that's trading around 2 cents, I don't think it trades here for much longer. Market cap well under $100 million. I think this is a quality project with plenty to like, and we've just kissed the 78.6 fib level. I think it's onwards and upwards from here on out for FunFair. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Something a little bit different there with FunFair, guys. Please hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.